between Mexico and Paraguay. I get a lot of queries. A lot of people call me and consult me on these two countries in particular. Should I be doing Mexico? Should I be doing Paraguay? What are the benefits? Which is the better one? Which one should I get started with first? So, wanted to provide my analysis, assessment on which of these two residencies is the better one, which is the one you should get started with. But before I jump into this, make sure you subscribe to this channel. It really helps the channel grow and helps me get you more valuable insights, news breaks, content, and a lot more. Now, let's start off with Mexico. The biggest advantage with both these two residencies is that they are flexible residencies. Now, had it been a year ago, I would have told you Paraguay wins because it was really a too good to be true kind of a deal. You directly started off with a permanent residency, and there was really no cost other than the agent fees. So all you were looking at was to deposit $5,000 in your own bank account in Paraguay, and they handed you over a permanent residency for life. And this was a flexible permanent residency, which means you don't have to satisfy residency requirements in the country. And if you see countries like US, Canada, you lose that status. It's really not permanent. They just call it permanent. But the moment you don't, you're away from the country, it's gone, right? So that was not the case with Paraguay. You retained this permanent residency for life, even without having a certain fixed amount of residency in the country. So that was a year ago. Unfortunately, within the RCBI domain, too good to be true options don't stick around for long. They usually go pretty fast the moment there's more demand. The country recognizes it that there's a lot of people coming in, they're not benefiting much from it, so they do away with such too good to be true options. So let's talk about 2023. Now, I think in 2023, I feel Mexico has the edge because the big advantage with Mexico is that it's again almost free. You need two criteria. One of the two criteria you need to satisfy. One is, let's say you have 55K USD in your bank account for the last 1 year. That gets you a free, almost free residency, a temporary residency. Now in Mexico, whether you have a temporary or a permanent residency, it really does not matter if your objective is to get that Mexican citizenship. It only matters if you want to work in the country, right? So if you want to work, you obviously want a permanent residency in Mexico, which is also possible. There are different requirements for the permanent residency, but the fastest and the most straightforward route is the temporary residency if your objective is just to get the citizenship at the end. And the other criteria for Mexico is that you're earning more than 2,600 USD per month. The biggest advantage is this is not passive income. This can be regular income, which is very interesting. So Mexico has that edge, flexible residency, easy to get, straightforward process. So that takes the edge. When you talk about Paraguay is also very interesting because with Paraguay, it's a Mercosur country. The ID that you get is sort of a Mercosur ID. It has a lot of benefits if you want access to more neighboring countries. It's a very useful cedula that you get from Paraguay. Now the deal now is you don't start off with the permanent residency, but you start off with a temporary residency for 2 years, and then after that you can upgrade your temporary residency to the permanent residency. When it comes to citizenship, Paraguay has a slight issue. It only allows you dual citizenship with treaty countries. There are only 3 countries that it allows dual citizenship with. There are a lot of reports where people don't tell them, they keep the citizenship and all of that. Again, we don't advise anything illegal. We don't advise hiding stuff from governments. It's not good in the long term. It can cause unnecessary problems. So can you have people kept dual citizenship in the past? Maybe. Again, it is not something that we advise. It is not something that I advise. None of this information is immigration, legal, tax, or finance advice. This is educational content and my assessment and analysis. If you still want to look, let's say you want to keep one citizenship at the end, then Paraguay, it's possible, right? You can gain citizenship in Paraguay. You have to obviously show ties to the country. So although their residency is flexible, if the question is about getting that eventual Paraguayan citizenship, then obviously you got to have attachment to the country, you got to know the language, you got to learn the language, and that's the case with Mexico as well. Both languages you have to learn. The Mexican citizenship obviously requires you to stay there for 5 years, right? Stay meaning it's a flexible residency, but you can only apply for citizenship at the end of the 5th year. You do need some attachment to the country. Now, if you want to learn the requirements for the citizenship, right, the physical presence requirements for the citizenship and the process, a very detailed interview with my attorney. We have discussed this in a lot of detail. And if you've missed that all important attorney interview for Mexico, make sure to return and take a look at this video. This talks about the whole process in a lot more detail. But let's say you get that citizenship at the end of, after 5 years. The passport, the Mexican passport, is extremely strong. It gets you access to Canada, a top tier country, and it also gets you access to some other very, very useful countries. So the passport is very strong. Paraguay, on the other side, is also extremely strong passport. It doesn't have that much of a Western coverage, but it does have some very exotic coverage. So based on what passport you currently hold, in certain cases, Paraguayan passport, Paraguayan citizenship could be more useful based on what you're trying to accomplish in your life. And yet, at any point, if you're interested in learning other options, there's Ecuador, there's Panama, there's different options. There's Brazil, there's Argentina. The Brazilian PR is very interesting. You can actually get the Brazilian residency for as low as $28,000. A very interesting residency permit. So at any point you want to have that discussion, you can always click the link in the description, book a call with us. We can discuss your unique circumstances and choose or help you choose the best possible residency or citizenship in your circumstances. Maybe you're looking for a quick citizenship like right away. Then there are 11 countries that offer citizenship by purchase. You can outright pay for these passports and gain direct citizenship in 11 countries. And if you are interested in knowing what those countries are, I have actually ranked these countries in the order of importance in what I see, right? My own assessment, analysis, and reasoning for that rating that I've done. If you've missed that video, make sure to return and take a look at this video. This talks about the entire CBI domain in a lot more detail. And in case you are looking to get started with your own residency and want to use that as a repeatable process, let's say you want to start an RCBI business, a YouTube channel is very important. Having the right contacts and connections is extremely important. So if you want to get started with, let's say, doing a business within the RCBI domain, then make sure to check out this video. This course covers all the very important critical topics that you would need to tick in order to start a successful RCBI business. All right.